Hi everybody, so we are doing a prom slash special occasion kind of modern bridal look. Hope you guys enjoy it. First thing that you want to do is just to make sure that your skin is nice and clean. Like I always say, cleanse, tone and moisturize. Make sure to add a little bit of lip balm, and you can also add a touch of eye cream underneath the eyes. I'm going to start by using some All May primer. This is the pore minimizing primer. Only need a touch of this. And I'm just going to dab it on the areas where I probably have the most amount of kind of pores, so the nose, across the cheeks, the chin and the forehead. I have two foundations that you can choose from, both of these from the drugstore. I have one which is the Rimmel 25 Hour. It has a really good amount of coverage. It's equal to any of the Revlon foundation. The only thing is it only has a very minimal amount of shade, so if you're super pale like me, it's hard to get a shade that matches. That's why I've decided to talk about this, which is the Revlon Color Stay. Comes in a variety of different shades. This one here is the palest shade and it works pretty much perfectly for me. So I thought I'd mention this foundation because a lot of people ask me about it. It's the Revlon Photo Ready. Photo actually means light, so it has nothing to do with photographs. So a lot of people think that this is the perfect foundation for photographs, but it's not. Unfortunately, it has high SPF, has light reflective properties in it, which means that it's light, like light photo, photo light, exactly the same thing. So you're ready for any type of light, which is why in the advert she says that under any light, you're gonna look flawless, which it does look gorgeous when it's on, but it doesn't photograph very well. I'm gonna use a foundation brush to apply this because I always find you get a much better coverage when you apply it with a foundation brush. If you want lighter coverage, try a damp sponge. Just working from the center of my face, working outwards. And I'm just dabbing it and pressing it into the skin. If you find that your foundation brush gives you sort of a streaky look, try applying your moisturizer with it first, and it should soften up the bristles and it won't absorb too much of the foundation and leave that streaky effect. So we've got our base down. I'm going to come back and do a little bit more with the skin later, but I'm going to move on to the eyes. I'm going to first of all take a pressed powder. I'm just going to dust a little bit of that pressed powder over my eyelids. This is just going to give us a base for our eyeshadow, so our eyeshadows will last longer and it will absorb oils. So if you don't have a primer, don't worry, because this does exactly the same thing. I'm going to start by taking this pearly shade on a flat brush. It's going to be like our highlighter shimmery shade. This goes all over the entire lid, but no higher than that for now. Apply a little bit in the inner corner and just blend it across. The majority of this should be just in here to brighten it up. You can take your brush once it's kind of clean and just blur out kind of the edges around the edge of your lid. Take a touch more and just place it underneath the brows. Then take this brown shade here onto a fluffy brush and you're going to press this into your crease. Apply a very small amount because this look is actually more about kind of the liquid liner and defining the eyes that way. Remember not to go outside this line, so place your brush alongside the edge of your nose, alongside the edge of your eye. Everything down here needs to be clear. Keep your shadows working up and back like this, rather than coming down too far, because that will kind of drag your eyes down. Take a small brush and this same brown shade, and you're going to work this just underneath the eye like this. Now we're going to move on to eyeliner. Now don't be worried because I'm going to show you guys how to do it very, very easily. So you're first of all going to take a soft kohl pencil, and then you're going to take an angled brush. Coat the brush with the pencil. Now pencils are a lot easier to work with. We're going to use a pencil and then an eyeshadow, and then we're going to move on to liquid liner to make sure that the liquid stays. Now don't be too worried about it. What you're going to do is you're going to start very slowly doing little brush strokes all the way along the top right by the lashes. Down in a mirror and press down, and you'll just get a very small amount of color. And you want to make sure that the line is slightly thicker on the outer part and then going to a nice thin line as it gets closer. If you want to elongate your eyes, have it much thicker and then barely in the inner part. If you want to round your eyes up, have it a little bit more even. So I'm just pressing it down right on the base of my lashes. And as I come into the inner part, I'm having it closer to the lashes than it is on the outer part. And then as you get to the outer part, you can just press it and bring it a little bit higher. Now that we've lined across the lid, it's time to do just a tiny little flick on the outer part. I'm not making a dramatic one here, it's very subtle and very soft. So all you want to do is use your angle like this, place it on the outer part of your eye. Don't just go underneath here and press it because you'll bring it down too low. Just have it just in the outer part of the eye, and that should be where your kind of kick is. Press it down, just like that, and it's always going upwards. And then with the outer part here, drag it and bring it over to join the rest. So you should get this sort of a shape. While we're here, I'm also going to do in between the lashes. So take a little bit more onto your brush, and you're gonna press this in between your lashes. I always say to do this for special occasions, especially if you're planning on wearing false eyelashes or you really want to make your eyelashes stand out, which most people do in photographs. So what I'm doing is I'm pressing some of that pigment in between my lashes. So it's not really going on the upper waterline like tight lining. It's actually just going in between my lashes. Then I'm going to take a black eyeshadow and using the same brush, and I'm going to press this over the top of our pencil. And you can also do exactly the same thing as before where you're pushing it in between the lashes. So you don't have to apply liquid liner over the top of this. You could just leave it the way that it is, and it's kind of like soft and a little bit smoky. But if you want a really strong line, I would suggest using a gel liner or liquid liner over the top. What I'm using is gel liner here. Then take a small eyeliner brush. Just get a tiny touch of it over the top, because we're not really needing any more coverage. We actually just want to make it sure that it lasts and have a little bit sharper line. And you're just going to glide over the top of this line that you've already created. Curl your eyelashes and then apply about 3 layers of mascara. I always like to take just a little mini eyelash curler and just get the edge, because they can be tricky to get in the larger ones. Then I'm going to apply a few coats of mascara. I usually apply about 3 to 4, depends on the occasion. And obviously if you're applying false eyelashes, you can just apply about 2 coats. I'm using waterproof, not just because you might be crying, you might be laughing and all that kind of stuff, but also because it really holds the curl and should keep the curl there all day for you. So try using a waterproof. So I'm going to go back in and do the rest of my face, and then move on to my brows and my lips. So first of all, I'll take a little bit of the foundation onto a concealer brush and just work it underneath the eyes. I'm not a big fan of using like concealers or anything. I'm a big fan of just really working in the foundation over the top of blemishes. Then I'm going to take my damp foundation sponge and just dab over the top of that, blending it in. Then I'm going to apply a little bit of foundation on the rest of my face, because I want to have very full coverage. Because in photographs you want to make sure that your skin looks its best, and you have to wear a little bit extra foundation just to make sure that it does. Once you have the coverage that you want from your foundation, you can use a setting spray or a pressed powder. Either one is totally fine, or you can use both. I'm a big fan of the e.l.f.'s Mist and Set. It really helps to make sure that your foundation lasts all long. It's like hairspray, but for your face. Like, it feels a bit like hairspray, but it's for your face. And a pressed powder will just make sure that you absorb any of those oils so your foundation lasts a bit longer as well. I'm not going to apply blush with this because I have the kind of red dress. I'm going to be wearing the red lips. So I'm going to keep the face kind of bronzy instead. So I'm going to be using a bronzer and highlighter on my face. I'm going to start off by using this bronzer on an angled brush. So you want to smile, and you can see where the natural shadows of your face kind of appear when you smile. And you're just going to emphasize those a little bit more. And then I'm going to slowly go kind of on top of the cheeks as well. Kind of stippling it on and blending it. Always remembering to kind of blend it as you go. Bronzer should never be over the top, it should be very subtle. But it should add a little bit of life to your face with this. And when your neck is on show, you always want to make sure that you blend it down the neck as well. And don't forget to get to the back here, especially if your hair is pulled to one side. I'm gonna add just a touch of highlighter, just the top of the cheeks. And kind of like into the brow bone area and then down. I'm only adding a very small amount. I'm gonna do the brows because I always like to do my brows after I finish my foundation. So when I take this mid-tone, as you can see I use it all the time, and I'm going to mix it up with this brown. Use an angle brush or a flat top brush, is totally up to yourself. And I'm just going to start right underneath, pushing the shadow in, and then up here, just follow the natural shape of your brows. I have an entire video devoted to how to do your eyebrows, so feel free to check that out. And I also take a little bit of the darker brown shade just on the outer part, so it's kind of like lightest going to a bit darker. That's pretty much it on the lips. I've decided to go with this red color to match my dress. I first of all lined the lips just to make sure with red colors you don't want it to be bleeding outside. So just line it first of all with a similar shade. It doesn't have to be identical, but it has to be somewhere similar. Then using a lip brush, I've gone over it with my favorite red color. If you're worried about your red lips kind of not staying where they're supposed to and maybe transferring as you kiss somebody on the cheek or on the lips, then you can use something like this. This is called Lipcote. This is basically like almost like a setting spray but for your lips. It's going to make sure that they really last, almost waterproofs them. So all you have to do is to blot the lips first of all. You apply a very thin coat of this and it will automatically sort of seal the lips and just keep all that lipstick on there. You allow it to completely dry before you press your lips together, so you want to apply 2 separate layers, one for the upper part and one for the lower part. It feels kind of tingly at the start, and that's just because it's working, and then eventually it will just feel kind of smooth and you won't have any problem with it kind of transferring. So no transfer. So I hope you guys enjoyed my look and I'll talk to you guys soon. I'm Shani Katie and thank you for watching.